Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. This is Living in Denver, Colorado. Today we've got a fun one. We've got a couple sirens for you on this one. Speaking of sirens, we will be talking about the Denver traffic hotspots.
Let's dive into it, guys. Let's go. What's up, guys? We are the Mile High Property Brothers. I'm Eli Schmidt. This is my business partner, Will Grimes. If it's your first time checking out our channel, first of all, welcome. Second of all, while you're here, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button and make sure to hit the notification bell right next to it, because that way you'll get notified every Tuesday and Thursday and every other Saturday when we're dropping a new video telling you literally everything there is to know about moving to or living in the entire Denver, Colorado metro area.
He's so good at that. 100%. And yes, we are licensed brokers in the state of Colorado, which means as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with those real estate needs. So that number that's popping up below, we are the guys who answer the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. So if we can help you guys with those needs, we would love to do so. But with that being said, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. It's a hot topic. How ironic, we heard some sirens in traffic while we were filming this, but we're talking Denver traffic hotspots. We're super pro Denver. I know you guys know that. We're super pro Colorado. We've always kind of explained the traffic and what it looks like, but we haven't gotten specifically as far as like what the highways look, time of days, where you're gonna have some hotspots, where you're not. So we're gonna cover that right now. We're not using my clock today. I'm not sure if it's going to be a benefit. We will be giving you some topographical maps as far as the highways and what that looks like. So we're going to start down like in your south range, southeast range from Denver. So if you guys were looking at the clock, it would be 6 o'clock or it'd be 4 o'clock.
Clock was coming.
So from southeast Aurora and like your Castle Rock areas, you're going to be big on 470. We've talked about E470 a couple of times. We've talked about I25 a couple of times. We've talked about Smoky Hill Road a couple of times, but we're going to kind of choreograph that. But starting off, let's just go big. Let's talk about I25 southbound, or excuse me, south headed northbound, and we can also cover north headed southbound in case you're returning from work but you live down south, and that hotspot and what traffic looks like on I25.
Yeah, so let's start off, guys. I25, you're heading north. So time of day, right? Rush hour traffic in the morning. What does that look like? It gets real bad from, not real bad, I mean real bad for Colorado. The worst of it will be between 7:30 to 9 o'clock when everyone's trying to get to work for their 8:30 or 9 o'clock start time. Pre 7:30, all good. After 9 a.m., it gets amazing as well. But that first area we're going to talk about is right around DTC, the Denver Tech Center, around I-25 and Bellevue up to about Hamden.
Yeah, like that's 7:30 to 8:30. Average mile per hour on the highway around that time is 46 miles an hour.
46, they said on I-25.
So our rush hour average speed is 46 miles an hour. Some of you that are coming from California and Chicago and New York or wherever else that doesn't have good road infrastructure, your average rush hour speed is 0?
Yeah, it might be, yeah.
Something like that. Like, picking up what I'm putting down. So when we talk about context, right, and just really understanding when we say traffic is not terrible here in Colorado compared to other places, literally an average 46 miles an hour is not terrible, especially if you guys are commuting in the morning. And obviously if you go super early or if you go after that 9 a.m. time, it opens up even better.
Yeah, and what really drives that average up, guys, is there's these hot spots, these little points of congestion where you have a lot of people exiting, a lot of people coming on, and it'll slow down for that little bottleneck, but then you're going regular speed after that until the next one. So let's keep heading north up I-25.
Right, so DTC, you've got a couple of exits there. You've got Arapahoe Road, you've got Orchard Road, you've got...
225 gets off there.
Yeah, the 225 gets a little congested. That'll start taking you out east towards southeast Aurora. And as you continue to head north on this map, as we're getting closer to like downtown Denver, you've got Colorado Boulevard. That tends to be a little bit of a friction point as they enter the highway. And you've got Santa Fe, because Santa Fe is kind of like its own highway, but it conjoins with I-25 where it connects and merges. So where that friction point is between I-25 and Santa Fe gets a little bit busier. You'll see like one of those overpasses that's there. But then as you get past Santa Fe, by the time you hit 6th Avenue, it starts to open back up. So as you're coming around toward Auraria campus,
that's right.
20th Street,
that's just just west of downtown Denver. So at this point, we're getting right by downtown.
So now it's pretty much opened up, and you guys have a really good, smooth traffic.
The Mousetrap.
The Mousetrap.
I-70, I-25.
As you start getting closer to I-70, it starts to hotspots a little bit. But we've talked about this in a couple of videos. Maybe you haven't hit it recently, but back when I lived in Southern California, so I'm going to use that for an example, you couldn't go anywhere without getting on the highway. Here in Colorado, you've got several different ways, depending on where you live, whether it's up north, northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast. You've got several different highways and byways and then traditional roads through neighborhoods and things like that to get you wherever you want to go. So there's not just I-25 or I-70 to get downtown. You've got Parker Road that turns into Lee's Hill, that turns into Spear. You've got 17th. You've got Broadway and Lincoln that run the other way that gets you in and out. So there's so many, you've got 6th Avenue, you've got so many different ways to get in and get out. Doesn't force like everybody to do the same thing where it just gets super stop and go like you would in like a Southern California. So I think that cuts down. And on top of that, you've also got exits and on-ways super often that get people on and off as best as they can.
That's right. Now, when we mentioned the Mousetrap, that is the intersection of I-25 and I-70, and they call it the Mousetrap because there's all sorts of overpasses and twists and turns. It's like the Mousetrap game is what it looks like.
Only not that fun. Like, I felt like the Mousetrap game was a lot better and more elaborate.
It was. So I-70, guys, is your major east-west highway on the north side of town. Now, this is an important highway because they are doing a ton of construction work on this, anticipating future growth that Denver's about to see. So that's one of the points I wanted to touch on, is that the majority of our slowdowns come because there are a lot of construction projects on these roads that they're trying to expand and improve on. So a lot of that is short term.
Yeah, so if you want to take like Spear back out of downtown and you take that southbound, you know, for half of the highway and then you jump on at a later spot, it's just more than doable. So depending on your specific route, you can stay on the highway if you like. Sometimes it's easier, or you can take a couple of these other roads and just jump onto the highway and avoid some of that construction. So again, like, man, it's just great that we have those options because construction's not necessarily going to bog you down.
Yeah. Let's stick with I-70 just a little bit longer because I want to talk about heading east and west.
Okay.
As you're heading west on I-70, that's going to take you from Denver. That's going to take you all the way into the mountains. Okay. So Friday afternoon is the worst time to take westbound 470 if you're trying to get to the mountains. 470
or I-70?
I-70. Did I say 470?
It's hard leading. He doesn't know how hard it is to carry this.
Yeah, did I say 470? Let's rewind it. See if I said 470 or I-70.
He said it.
Westbound 470 if you're...
It's hard being me. I was wrong once. Time I thought I was wrong, but I was actually right. Do the math on that.
Favorite.
But moving forward, hey, yes, like a lot of folks love getting outdoors, love going to the mountains, especially on the weekend. Those of you that can get a day off and get Friday off, or get Thursday and Friday off when you can head to the mountains, phenomenal 4-day weekend, great idea. If you cannot,
early Friday.
Yeah, or early Friday. If you cannot, and you've got to leave, work at your traditional time, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and then you're heading west in the mountains, does get a little bit more congested on that I-70, but the further that you get into the mountains, the further that things start to break off.
Yep, and then coming back on I-70, so eastbound I-70 from the mountains on Sunday afternoons, it does get very congested. Now, I would say that is probably the most close to gridlock that Colorado will ever have. If we have some bad weather in the mountains, it's Sunday afternoon, people are coming back from skiing. It's definitely doable. Just plan for some extra time.
Right. Now let's continue to take I-70 and let's go eastbound. So for example, if you were to live in like East Aurora, Reunion, Brighton, Bennett, Painted Prairie, those areas, you're going to be directly east of downtown Denver, which means you wouldn't be taking I-70 west. You'd be taking I-70 east on your way out from downtown. So whether it's a basketball game, a baseball game, a football game, or you work down here, or you're down here for dinner, whatever that looks like, if you're taking I-70 east out of downtown, couple hotspots. One of them is the I-70 expansion. So they've got a great new project that's going here to plan for infrastructure and some cool buildings and tennis courts and parks that are actually going to go over the highway. It's phenomenal. Real estate over there.
Oh, Central Park.
Central Park.
Yeah.
The real estate over there is going to be great. Everything is going up over there. But if you live east, whether it is in Central Park or if you're going toward the Brighton area, Colorado Boulevard, a little bit congested. That's a super close area to the I-70 expansion. And then as you get closer to Quebec and 225, that's where 225 connects On the north side, a little bit of congestion, but once you start heading further east than that, tend to open up a little bit. Even though it's a 2-lane highway at that point, it tends to open up and not too much friction. So not a terrible amount of hot spots. Sometimes I take that home. I take 225 from I-70 down to Parker Road and then into Southeast Aurora. So depending on the time of day and where you're at, not terrible, but again, just a couple of hot spots. But if I didn't want to be on those hot spots, I could get off at Quebec, and I could take Quebec into North Aurora, and North Aurora would connect me from Havana to Parker Road, and I can take that way home. If for some reason there's a car accident or there's more construction, that congest, there's a ton of audibles that you guys can run to get where you need to go.
Now, guys, Google Maps is great out here. Apple Maps, Waze, all of those are really good with the real-time updates. So whenever I'm about to head out somewhere and there's potential traffic, I would just map it, and it'll tell you the quickest route to get there. It'll let you know if there's any accidents. I know a lot of states, those aren't the most reliable. Here, they're very, very much up to date. So I would lean on those a little bit. But just to reiterate, unless there's a big traffic that's shutting down multiple lanes of the highway, it doesn't get bad out here.
No.
You know, from those average prices.
Average mile per hour, 36 miles an hour on I-70.
There we go. Thank you. Yeah. So
During
again,
rush hour.
Not bad.
No,
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. A couple honorable mentions. So we mentioned 225. Let's also mention 270. So you've got your major highways, right? I-25. 225 is like that little extension to the highway to get you around the city if you're for some reason not needing to go to the heart of it. And then 270, same thing. If you guys are looking at going up north toward Highway 36, which will take you to Boulder, or if you live east or southeast and you don't need to come down into the heart of Denver to hit I-25 to go north up toward Loveland, Fort Collins, you guys can take 270. It does connect to I-70, but it's up more in like the north, so you don't have to come down in the heart of Denver. Some of those highways are a little bit smaller, so they're less lanes, so sometimes those can actually be a little bit more backed up than your typical. And then our last one is E470. It's a toll road. It's awesome. It's always open, so depending on your time management and where you need to go, we use E470 a ton. I feel like I should have a E470 sponsorship on my vest today. And then C470, which is on the other side of the of I-25. It's got some toll lanes, but it's not quite a toll road. So a little bit of congestion there, but not terribly bad. But for the most part, guys, with those average mile per hours during rush hour traffic, you guys have a little bit more context as far as like, hey, what does it look like traveling? Where could I travel? And again, once you get here and you get familiar and you see some of these other roads that you can take in addition to, if you have to, if your GPS is up to date and it can highlight where the accident is before you actually get onto the highway, that's great because you can take another road, and your GPS should know those other roads to take you where you need to go.
That's right.
Either way, again, context. This is not a bad state compared to some others as far as traffic.
Yeah, now one final point I want to touch on here. When we're doing Zoom calls with you guys and we're talking about where some good potential places to call home might be for you, part of the conversation is, okay, we're working from home. Is there a physical office location you'll need to be going into? And then we have a really cool feature on our MLS where what we can do is we can punch in your work address, and then we can punch in a certain time of day. So let's say 8 o'clock on a Monday, going to this address. We want our max travel time to be 45 minutes. It then will pop up a radius on the map and show us exactly where 45 minutes goes out to. So kind of a cool feature that we can go over with you guys on those Zoom calls.
Isn't that something? Whatever you guys need. Yes, we have those tools, and we have those tools because we're licensed brokers.
That's right.
In the state of Colorado, and yes, as much as we love making these videos, we love more helping you guys with those real estate needs. So that number that's popping back up below, we are the guys who answer the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. So again, guys, if we can help you with anything, we would love to. But until next week or this weekend, or next video, whenever that one pops up, you guys enjoy the rest of your week or your weekend, and we will see you guys very soon.
Bye, guys.